You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today, I'm looking at all the questions that we had come in over the last week or two. Really excited to get to these. And remember, if you ever have a question, I'm absolutely happy to answer that for you. You can just put your first name in if you'd like. We can keep it completely anonymous, not mention your name. But I do want to be able to help steer you at least in the right direction of where to look. So to do that, all you have to do is go to stephencabral.com/askcabral. Oftentimes, it will take me a couple weeks to get to your question. But again, stay tuned to these weekend episodes and I will absolutely get to every single one of your questions. That is something that I've just dedicated myself to and want to continue to do for the foreseeable future. All right, so let's get into today's first question. Again, we do have some great ones. They always come in all over the map, like from different areas of health. And that's why I enjoy seeing them come in, is because I don't have to just talk about one topic, right? Natural health is so broad that we get to talk about so many different areas of life because all of life is natural health, right? All of life is keeping us either healthy or making us a little bit more sick, and it's our choice. I mean, again, we can't control everything, but what we can control, we should control, and that's what I want to talk about today, starting with Greg. Greg's first question is this. Hello, thank you for the episode on water filters. So Greg's referring to a previous podcast. It was a Friday review, actually. I did one on shower filters. I did one on bath filters. That was episode 307. So just go to stephencabral.com/307. And then you can see my full one on actual like water filters for your tap water that would absolutely recommend looking back into. And one of the reasons I say that as well is that there's fluoride, there's chlorine, there's pharmaceutical drugs. There's just so many things that you would not believe in your tap water. You have to check out that episode. Honestly, for yourself, for your family, you have to check that out. That's episode 286. So again, stephencabral.com/286 for that show. And of course, you can always just go to the podcast page on my website to find all previous podcasts. All right, so Greg's asking, I've been looking into getting an Enagic. So basically, he wrote Enagic, but it's called a Kangen water filter that supposedly filters and alkalizes water for my home. Do you know anything about this brand, and do you recommend for an important health investment? Okay, so Greg, this is an important question. I've honestly gotten this same question, I would say 7 or 8 times, honestly. And I haven't answered it yet. I'm going to tell you why. I don't like to talk negatively about companies, and I think most companies really are doing their best to help people. And again, I'm about to give you my opinion on Kangen and the brand name, which is Enagic. So Kangen water filters are what? They're water filters that contain electrodes, so a form of electrolysis, a stimulus to the water to ionize it and make it more active, as they say. It also alkalizes the water, bringing the pH of normal water, which is about a 7, all the way up to potentially an 11 for very, very alkaline-based water. So do I recommend this? Do I think that this is a good thing? Well, let's talk a little bit more about what they're doing, and then you can kind of get a little bit of maybe insight into why I recommend some things and why I may not be recommending others. Okay, so a Kangen water filter, what they do is it takes tap water and it starts to use basically activated charcoal and calcium sulfite to remove a lot of the bacteria, to remove chlorine from the water. So that's nice. Like, it's nice that it's going to filter your water to take out a lot of the harmful things. And it filters about 95% of the chlorine in the water. So that's good. You're not getting the chlorine that will kill the bacteria in your gut. And potentially if you use it to wash your face or brush your teeth, things like that, you won't get it in your mouth as well. So that's fine. But there's a lot of other water filters that do that, right? And you have to check out my previous podcasts, again, the ones that I mentioned before on those specific shows. All right, let's talk about the pink elephant in the room. Kangen water filters are anywhere from about $1,500 to $5,000, right? So they're super expensive. And again, I was going to go like kind of deep into all the different things about them. The bottom line is this. I don't recommend them in my practice. The reason I don't recommend them in my practice is because there are simple other water filters like the Berkey water filter, the Zero pitcher, the reverse osmosis, the whole house filter that you could do for this $5,000, and it would just filter all the water coming into your house for much less. Would it have that same alkaline potency? No. How do you get that alkaline potency for a lot less than $5,000? You take a lemon, you cut it in half, which is what I do every single morning. I recommend this as part of my protocol. I squeeze that juice from a half a lemon in my water. I also add a pinch of sea salt. Now I got my potassium and I got natural sodium. And again, Kangen water is using sodium chloride salt to put into the water to raise the pH as well. Well, now I just did that with something called Himalayan pink salt or Celtic salt or something called real salt, which comes from Utah. So I got that. I raised the pH of my water. I put in my own scoop of greens powder, which is about $2, and you get 22 daily fruits and vegetables. And I did that. Now I have my own natural alkaline water. I'm either using fresh spring water or I'm using a filtered water. And I'm doing that for a couple $100 rather than a couple thousand. So again, do I really have anything against this company? Not at all. And I don't want to disparage them. And if you're using a Kangen water filter, well, it could be perfectly healthy for you. I just know that there's a lot of expenses out there. There's a lot of natural health products out there. And for this amount of money, I can do so many different things, right? I could buy an infrared sauna like I just talked about on yesterday's show on our Friday review. So I could buy so many different things, and I'd rather put it to good quality nutritional supplements like my own daily protocol that I use, which is my daily fruit and vegetable blend, my daily probiotic support, and my daily nutritional support, which is basically my multi, my mineral, and my vegan protein powder all in one. So I'd rather do that. And that costs $5 a day, right? So it's like it's less than $5 a day, same as like an expensive coffee at Starbucks. And so that's kind of how I justify things. That's how I look at it. I just know, and honestly, man cannot outdo what nature gave us, right? We just can't. And every time we try to go against that, we learn that we're wrong. I honestly believe just drinking fresh spring water, if you're able to get it, is going to give you more benefit. And if not, you can use a filter that I gave on a previous podcast, which again, I think was like, $286 to check out how to filter your tap water. So Greg, that was a long answer, but hopefully it does answer your question. And I gave you enough value from that answer to potentially even save you that much money. Again, but if you feel strongly about it and it gets you to drink more water, which is where a lot of people get the benefit from because they purchase something like this, it costs so much money that they just start drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. And hey, there you go. You're starting to feel better and you're starting to feel like you have more energy. And I think that's great. So not to disparage them, it's just, that's my opinion, one man's opinion. All right, AnneMarie is up next. AnneMarie's asking, hi, Stephen. I live in Portland, Oregon, and I was wondering what your advice would be purchasing a Happy Light that gives natural vitamin D. Here can be a lack of sunshine during the winter, and I'm trying to prevent the seasonal affective disorder, also called S.A.D. I'm new to listening to your show, so I apologize if you mentioned it already. Thanks for sharing your valuable information. Okay, so AnneMarie, I actually gave a product review in the past called a Wake Light. Let's see if I can pull that up for you right now as I'm chatting. And this Wake Light is honestly, it's the number one way, the number one thing that I recommend to people as they're trying to wake up so that they don't wake up to an alarm that's like an air raid siren that's going to spike those cortisol levels. They wake up naturally to light. And again, as someone who lives in the city like myself, I can't keep the blinds open all night because there's street light, right? So we have to keep them closed. But a Wake Light is just a phenomenal thing that gets just brighter every single minute and gradually wakes you up. That was on episode 237. So just go to stephencabral.com/237 and check out that Wake Light. Now, there's more. So there are these kind of like Happy Light boxes, as you call them. I think it's a great name for them because they really do work. These have been clinically proven, by the way, to work. Even in conventional medicine, they're recommending them. So what you want to do is you'll basically want to look up reviews for products on light boxes that mimic the same rays essentially as the sun. So they're called lumens or luxes. And what they do, or what you should do, is when you wake up, you want to expose yourself to this light box for about 30 minutes. That 30 minutes will start to detract away or counteract seasonal affective disorder, which is essentially low mood during the winter months when we're getting less sun. And, there's a lot of people in New England where I'm from that are affected by this specifically. And I would say almost everyone is to a little bit of a degree, because I see what happens when the spring comes about and, weather's getting a little warmer, the light's out longer, people's mood just gets boosted. So we know natural sunlight does help with that. Now, are you able to get vitamin D from it? I don't think so. That would be really questionable. You're not really getting the vitamin D you need unless your skin is getting a little bit pink or just a little tan. Of course, never want to get a sunburn, but that little bit of pink or that little bit of tan is where you're getting that vitamin D from. So that's why during the winter in Oregon, you're not going to get enough vitamin D because you're above that 37-degree latitude. And that means that the sun isn't strong enough, even if you laid outside again in your underwear all day, to get a tan, which means you're not going to get enough vitamin D. The light box is going to help with that, but it will help. Certainly, you could take a vitamin D supplement, but it will help with, again, that seasonal affective disorder. So why don't I do this? I will link up on a future Friday review the light boxes that I recommend. But right now, of course, you can do your own research on that as well. So AnneMarie, I thoroughly recommend it for you. Try to do 30 minutes when you wake up in the morning. You can just keep it in your bathroom with you, or you can put it right beside you when you are having breakfast and your smoothie. Hopefully that helps. Okay, next question is from Anna. Anna is asking, what do you consider the healthiest bake stove top cookware? I do know cast iron is great, but hard to keep up with. What do you think about a brand like Zwilling ceramic nonstick with aluminum core? We all know aluminum is horrible, but supposedly this is safe. Thank you. And she links up the item that she wants me to look at. So this is different. It's induction cooking. I'll do a Friday review on induction cooking in the future, but let's talk about this specific pan that you recommended. So Anna essentially linked up a non-stick cookware pan. Now, this non-stick cookware pan does not contain a lot of those same estrogen-building, cancer-causing chemicals that are added to pans to make them not stick with your food. So that's good. Remember, if you're using non-stick cookware right now, please make it your 2017 resolution to get rid of that cookware and replace it with healthy cookware, because literally every time you scrape that with your spatula, you are bringing those chemicals directly into your food and then putting them into your mouth and right into your body. And it's so toxic for you. It really is. So let's eliminate those. Now, Anna, what I can say is that this still contains the nonstick coating, which means that it's kind of like saying there's a safe plastic. There really isn't. When you heat plastic, no matter what type of plastic it is, whether it's PCB or not, it's still toxic. Okay. So don't wait for us to figure out all the future toxins from all of these things. Non-stick is not going to be healthy for you. I can't recommend this. I like that you know that it should not be aluminum. That's fantastic. Aluminum core is fine because that makes the pan lighter, and it also helps it heat up faster because of the specific heat of certain metals like aluminum, which heats up faster. So that's great, but I can't recommend it. So what am I recommending? Okay, well, why don't I do this? Again, on a future Friday review, I will give you all the brands that I recommend for cookware. For now, let me tell you what to actually choose material-wise. Okay, so I like copper cookware. I like ceramic cookware. Again, all of these are nonstick. Do not buy the nonstick versions. Stainless steel is okay. I'm not against that. Aluminum core, totally fine as long as the aluminum is not touching the pan itself, or not touching your food itself. Cast iron is fine as well. And also a new one is it doesn't hold up as long, we'll put it that way, where like cast iron will last forever, right? You could pass down your cast iron cookware from generation to generation, right? Copper like that as well. But bamboo, the one that I'm mentioning right now, great. It just doesn't last as long. That's okay, but you can still use it for baking and steaming and things like that. Bamboo can be a really nice one. And bamboo is super sustainable, which means that it's so easy to grow bamboo, really slow to get going, and then it just sprouts up after that, if you've ever seen bamboo. So very sustainable, great product to use. The other one I didn't mention is glass. Glassware works fantastic as well. So copper, ceramic, stainless steel, cast iron, bamboo, or glass. All of those can be great cookware possibilities to use, and then try to buy bamboo spatulas, try to buy other types of products besides aluminum. Again, that will be in an upcoming podcast, upcoming book, all of talking about all of these toxic-based things that we are exposed to. So Anna, hopefully that answers your question. Great questions, everyone. I'll be answering 3 more of our community's questions tomorrow. So absolutely do be sure to check those out as well. Take care, everyone.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to StephenCabral.com/resources.